The Lion King is one of the most beloved children's movies of all time. It's a classic that's been a household staple for generations. With a live-action remake just around the corner, it'll open the door for a whole new era of children to get attached to Simba and his pals Timon and Pumbaa. Although, there's a lot more to Lion King than meets the eye. You might hear the name and immediately associate it to family-friendly fun and valuable life lessons, but if you really pay attention, it's dark. Like, real dark. Originally released in 1994, The Lion King was a huge success. We're talking $45 million budget to make and nearly $1 billion grossed at the box office. Those kind of margins would make Robert Herjavec have a seizure.
And they called him all kinds of names.
It was an immediate hit, right down to the music by Hans Zimmer and Elton John. 1994 was a different time though. Back then, everyone was busy rocking out to the latest Billy Ray Cyrus hit, O.J. Simpson was all over the headlines, and Quentin Tarantino was making memorable hits in the theaters. And The Lion King was coming out. Wait a second, that's still never mind. Later this year, we're getting a live-action remake of the cartoon classic. The hyper-realistic film has a slew of big-name stars doing voice work for the characters. Seth Rogen is Pumbaa, Beyoncé is Nala, John Oliver is Zazu, and Simba's voiced by none other than Will Sasso. Wait, no, that's not right. Hold on, let me look that up. Right, Simba's voiced by Donald Glover. I always get those two mixed up. While a live-action remake is definitely exciting, I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle Mufasa passing away in real time. It was already too much to handle as a cartoon. I don't know if my heart can take seeing it with real animals. Also, sorry for the spoiler, but if you haven't seen the original movie yet, then the statute of limitations on Lion King spoilers has long expired. If you haven't seen the movie, it's a fun-loving tale about a child lion who watches his uncle murder his father and then is raised by a meerkat and a warthog since his mother is inexplicably absent. The lion then gets haunted by the ghost of his deceased father, who goats him into a physical confrontation with said murderous uncle, watches him get eaten alive, and then lives happily ever after in a loving relationship with his relative. This is what's most likely on your parents' VHS shelf at home. As if that isn't messed up enough, did you know that there was actually supposed to be a much darker ending to The Lion King? According to early storyboards, the writers originally planned to have Simba, voiced by Matthew Broderick in the original, fall to his demise after Scar, voiced by Jeremy Irons, throws him off Pride Rock. So they were planning on just having the main character of the movie fall off a cliff. How very Thanos of them. And it wasn't just a silly idea being tossed around, there's actual storyboards and drawings. They totally went in on this before deciding it wasn't a good idea to viciously eliminate the main character of a children's movie. And that's not even the worst part. In the original plans, it's not like Scar tosses Simba off the cliff and then lives on, with the bad guy ending up victorious. No, their idea had Scar tossing Simba off a cliff and then getting engulfed in flames and being burned alive while laughing maniacally. Fun! That sure would have been a crazy way to end the movie. Thankfully, they changed their minds, and instead of showing Scar being burned alive, they only showed him getting eaten alive by a pack of hyenas. That's much better. And those things really eat the heck out of him too. I wonder how that'll turn out in a live-action remake. It wouldn't be the first time that Disney oversteps the line. Sometimes they forget that these movies are for kids, and they have a tendency to throw unexpected depressing curveballs from time to time. Bambi's mother gets shot in the opening scene of the movie. There's the part in Up where Ellie can't have children. All of these questionable underlying tones can be found in some of the most beloved kids' movies of all time. Then there's the fact that The Lion King isn't even original. No, I don't mean the 2019 remake. I mean the original isn't original. It's just Hamlet. Seriously, any Shakespeare buffs out there? William Shakespeare was this dude who may or may not have actually existed, who wrote a bunch of famous plays like half a millennium ago. He's widely considered the greatest English writer of all time, which is pretty insulting to George R.R. Martin, but whatever. One of his most popular plays was called Hamlet, and it's eerily identical to the story of The Lion King, only with people instead of animals. Did Disney really think they could just change the species of the characters and nobody would notice? Hamlet is the story of a young prince, Hamlet, whose father dies. He's thrown into a downward spiral of despair and negative emotions. While in the pits of his grief, his uncle convinces the prince to leave and ends up usurping the throne in his absence. This throws the entire kingdom out of balance, and everything gets turned upside down while the prince is gone. While he's out soul-searching, the young prince is visited by the ghost of his father, who tells him that the uncle was responsible for his death. Hamlet returns to the kingdom, confronts the nefarious uncle, and they do battle. In the play, both characters pass away from fighting one another, which explains Disney's original concept for the Lion King ending. Aside from the tragic ending, which was kinda Shakespeare's thing, every other detail is pretty much spot on. It's not just the plot either, even the characters are similar. Throughout the play, Hamlet is guided by a significantly important relationship with his trusted friend and confidant Horatio, much like Timon and Pumbaa in the animated movie. Both Horatio, as well as Timon and Pumbaa, help guide the young prince in the right direction and help him find his way. There's also Polonius, the right-hand man of the king who's uber-committed no matter what. In The Lion King, that role's reserved for Zazu. Then there's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who are used to spy on the young prince exactly like the hyenas. Both princes even fall for females who are caught up in some messy business and help them get out of it. The whole Lion King movie is basically a shot-for-shot reenactment of the play Hamlet, which makes it absolutely insane that The Lion King is also one of the most successful Broadway plays of all time. Talk about the circle of life. They made a play about a movie about a play. That's just redundant. That's like selling cookies and cream Oreos. You're just reselling us the same thing. Beyond the fact that the movie is just a remake of an unsettling and twisted play from the 1500s, there's a bunch of other not-so-fun facts that make Lion King a lot darker than you could even imagine. For starters, there's the song The Circle of Life. Sure, it's catchy, but you ever stop to actually think about what that song is saying? It's actually propaganda at its finest. It's a miserable song that the lions probably came up with just to convince everyone else that they should be fine with being slaughtered and eaten. Like, the song literally tells the rest of the animal kingdom how and why they should be okay with becoming food for lions. Why is everybody singing it? Why is everybody okay with this? Why is everyone happy? I get that there's a hierarchy of the food chain, but they don't need to be gleefully singing about who gets to eat who. That's seriously messed up. That's not even the worst musical number of the film. That title would be reserved for Scar's big solo performance titled Be Prepared. While Scar melodically explains his devious plan, which is filled with ruthless and unspeakable things, he stands on a large, elevated platform while his hyena followers march in unison in front of him. It looks questionable as heck, but it becomes downright uncomfortable when you learn that the shot was confirmed to be lifted straight from footage of the movie Triumph of the Will. It's based on Nazi war propaganda. Was that really necessary, Disney? You really needed to squeeze that Nazi callback in there? Watching the scene over again with this in mind, it's chilling to see the hyenas march as Scar describes the evil atrocities he's planning. Well, I hope you're excited for the remake. Let's take a moment to respond to some of our favorite comments from this past week. Thanos writes, "Damn, should have seen this sooner," which is understandable because it looks like you've been busy. You know, you could stay up to date on all of our latest releases if you just subscribe to Behind the Screen and hit that little bell icon so it'll notify you when a new video drops. That way, when you're done waging war against the universe, you could sit back and relax to some YouTube videos. Captain America commented, "Okay, well this is all BS," which sounds like someone's bored now that they're no longer a superhero. Spending all your time leaving mean comments on the internet now, Cap? Is that really what you've become? Kinda makes us like Thanos a little bit more. Kinda makes us rethink who we were rooting for in Endgame. Finally, Franco Takis writes, "I've felt like I can't spell." Well, you felt correctly. Well, hopefully I didn't completely ruin The Lion King for you. There's a lot of underlying darkness, but it's still an all-time classic, and the new remake is sure to pull on audiences' heartstrings just as much as the original did. What part of the new movie are you most looking forward to? Is there a specific scene that you're eager to see? Or is there a special character that you can't wait for? Let us know in the comments section down below. We may just use your comment in a future video. Also be sure to give this video a thumbs up by hitting that thumbs up icon. That way we know that you enjoyed it and we can keep them coming. Hit that subscribe button just like I told Thanos to do a moment ago so you don't miss a video. Until next time, bye!